Welcome to Tia's Table, where we talk about making fitness and wellness doable for busy women like you and me. Looking for healthy meal ideas, workout motivation, and good conversation? Don't worry, I got you, girl. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's have some girl talk. Hey girl, hey, welcome back to another episode of Tia's Table. I'm Tia, a certified group fitness instructor and nutrition coach. I help women develop healthy habits that align with their health, wellness, and fitness goals. I do that right in our private community. We have an app where right now we are making our way through 75 Hard. Super excited and super happy for all of the results I'm seeing from the women participating in our first 75 Hard of the year. They are learning so much about themselves. If you or someone you know wants to be a part of our next 75 Hard, or if you just are interested in developing healthy habits on a one-on-one basis with me, feel free to reach out to me. You can do that by emailing me at tiavfitness@gmail.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at tiavfitness. Now, I know we pretty much have not spoken since January, and I do apologize for that. Things have been so busy. First of all, January was crazy. Let's just start there. But I'm not special when I say that. I think everybody experienced January and all of its craziness from all of the directions, right? And then February started off for me with some personal family things. My family lost the patriarch of our family, my grandfather. And to be honest with you, I'm still not really even, I haven't even come to grips with that all the way. So, but I know part of what I probably should be doing is trying to get back to my regular routine. And part of that is this podcast. So let's catch up. I felt like that would be a great thing for us to do on this episode since I'm coming back from the very first episode in January. So let's see, just a quick timeline. As many people may or may not know, February is my birthday month, right? My birthday is February 7th. My grandfather's funeral was February the 8th. I had to take my daughter on a field trip. I signed up to be a chaperone. Her orchestra was going to Disney World for the week, and we did that the 11th through the 14th. Got back from that at 1 a.m. in the morning, basically on the 15th, actually. Got back home from that. Had a day or so to kind of just take a minute to kind of regroup. My children are right now, they're on winter break, and they'll be on winter break all this week. So they're home doing all of the things that kids do while they are on break. And yeah, that pretty much brings us to where we are today, which is February the 18th, which happens to be my brother's birthday. So happy birthday to him. But yes, it's been a busy February, right? Very, very busy. And I don't know, I probably even sound just out of sorts, right? You can probably hear it in my voice. It's been one of those months where I'm ooh, the first time I get a chance to catch a break and catch my breath, I'm going to do it. But I really honestly don't even know when that's going to be. I tried to take a little bit of a break today and not make myself feel like I had to do much of anything, but then I'm oh, Tia, but every day that you don't record the podcast or you don't work on your newsletter, which is now a digital magazine, you just get that much more behind on work-related things. And I really don't want to be behind. I don't want it to be huge gaps in time when I'm not doing all of the things, right? So here I am trying my best. And I do have some good stuff for us to talk about today. So we are going to get right into it. But before we do, let's talk about what is on my table right now. And it's not necessarily on my table right now, but it was on my table last week when I was at Disney. And I know summer vacations are coming. I know spring breaks are coming. And should you find yourself in the Disney world of it all at any point in time ever, you have to go eat at Morimoto's Asia restaurant. Now, I remember when Morimoto was an Iron Chef on Food Network. That's where I know him from. before Googling everything, like the school gave us the itinerary for the field trip. And I saw that one day the chaperones were going to get to have about 2.5 hours in Disney Springs while the kids were in a workshop. And I was like, ooh, gotta write this down, like note to self. His restaurant is in Disney Springs. Then I happened to be talking to a friend and I was telling her like, oh, I'm going to Disney. I'm chaperoning this field trip. And she said to me, oh my gosh, you have to go get the ribs at Morimoto's when you go. And she told me about her experience eating there with her kids and like how good it was. And I was like, okay, well, that's confirmation for me. I will be going there and having lunch on whatever day the chaperones get to go to Disney Springs. And I don't know what I was expecting, but they far exceeded my level of expectation. So you get there, and I don't think they opened until 11:30, and I got there, a little bit before 11:30, so I had to wait a little bit. But once they opened, they sat me down. I had already looked at the menu because, girl, that's what I do. I had already looked at the menu, so when the server came to take my order, I said, hey, I want the ribs, because they come in either a set of 3 or 8. And I'm like, the 3 should be enough because I'm getting more than just these ribs. So I'm like, I'll get the set of 3 for the ribs, which is like half of a rack, right? I will get the miso soup because I never turn down miso soup. I will get some of that. I'll also try the shumai because the shumai had pork, shrimp, mushrooms, and caviar on top of it. So I said, gotta try that, right? Have to try the shumai. And then I kind of felt like you couldn't go there without trying sushi because you just got to, like you have to. And me being the sushi lover that I am, I'm like, okay, I have to get some of the nigiri because that's what I order wherever I go. And I truly wanted to see if like nicer restaurants, if there was a difference in the, like the quality of the seafood, right? And then they had some type of like lunch special where you could get the nigiri and like a roll together. And it was like 20 something bucks. So I said, I'll do that. You guys, when I mean to tell you, let's just start with the ribs. The ribs were slow cooked. They had to be because they were like fall off the bone, very tender, juicy ribs that were also fried, like deep fried. So then they had like a crust on them. They had like a cilantro, hoisin, sweet chili glaze on them that made them like sticky and sweet and just perfect. I have never in my life, and I am a girl from the South, I have eaten many a rib. I have eaten ribs from people's backyards. I have eaten ribs in restaurants. I lived in Texas for like 6 years. I have had Texas barbecue. I'm a North Carolina, or I'm like a Carolina girl. So I've had Carolina barbecue. Like I have lived in places where you are supposed to have access to the best of the best. And granted, I guess we can't say that the Morimoto ribs were barbecue ribs, but we got to say a rib is a rib, right? Or maybe not. Maybe we shouldn't be. But for the purposes of this podcast, we're going to say a rib is a rib. Those were the best ribs I had ever had in my whole life. And I did not need more than the 3 because they were like big, like a nice size. I posted a picture of them to my Instagram for my wellness recap of last week. They were insanely delicious and truly, I don't know if restaurants like that could become chains, like if they could open one somewhere else. But if he ever opened a restaurant in the Atlanta metro area and those ribs were on the menu, you would never be able to get a reservation at that restaurant. Like it would be impossible. It would be impossible because that is how good those ribs were. Now, the shumai, I'm sorry, my glasses are stuck on my necklace. The shumai was good. You know, it was tasty, as appetizers tend to be. Like, it wasn't super memorable. Would I eat it again? Sure. If I find myself at Disney again anytime soon, would I order it again? Probably not. I would pick something else and try it. But they were good. They were hot. They were just the way you would want like a dumpling to be. They were like hot, yummy, but not, yeah, like I don't have to have them again. But if someone ordered them and they offered me one, I would definitely, gobble one up in a minute. So they were just okay, in my opinion. The miso soup. And I would consider myself to be a miso soup connoisseur. Like I said, I order it everywhere we go. Whenever I see it on the menu, I try it everywhere. So I have had miso soup a lot in my life. And when I mean to tell you that that too was the best miso soup that I have ever had in my life, it is the best miso soup that I have ever had in my life. And I looked in the bowl to try to determine, like, how is this flavor so strong and so yummy? Because this looks just like the miso soup you would get anywhere. They did have green onion in it. And I'm thinking that they just weren't stingy with the miso, because it was, I would say, a little bit more cloudy than what I'm used to seeing in a miso soup. And so all I could say to myself was either they're using like a top grade miso paste, which I'm sure could be the case, or they're just not being stingy with the miso and they're like really like cooking it like you would if you were making miso soup at your own house. You wouldn't do that. You would be generous with the miso because you really want that miso flavor to pop. The best miso soup I have ever had in my life. Hands down, it was delicious. Moving on to the sushi. The spider roll was good. I have no complaints there. You know what? As far as sushi goes, you know how sometimes you'll go and eat sushi somewhere and the rice seems thick, or like maybe they use a lot of rice, so then it's kind of gummy on the outside or something. If you eat a lot of sushi, then you kind of know what I'm talking about. I noticed that the sushi at this restaurant, the rice layer on the outside was not thick at all. Like you could almost see the seaweed wrapper underneath it. That is how little rice that they use, which I thought was a good thing because you could actually taste all the flavors of everything else. Like your mouth wasn't full of rice necessarily. You actually got to taste the things that were on the inside of that roll, which for me happened to be fried shrimp. And I can't remember what else was in their spider roll. I just remember thinking it was good. So there's that. And I was very, very happy with it. Now, the nigiri. And I'm not going to say that I've become a nigiri snob per se, but I think I've eaten enough of it at this point to know what's like really fresh and like good seafood that, I mean, if you're going to eat it raw, and what's not. And again, this had to be some of the best that I have ever had. And I got to try salmon, I want to say mackerel, and maybe I know there was another fish, but I can't remember if it was yellowtail or something else. I don't think it was yellowtail, but it was another type of fish too. All of it was good. And as I was eating, I was just like, oh my gosh, I hate that this is about to be over. Like, I hate that this whole experience is about to be over. And it was in that moment that I knew I would have to come back. I'm like, we were in Disney Springs for 2.5 hours. The place didn't open until 11:30, and I had to be back at the bus at 12:30. So really, I only had an hour to be there to eat. But it was in that moment that I knew I have to come back. Like, I got to bring my kids back, or like I have to come back here. Like, I have to come back because this was not enough time for me to experience everything that I needed to experience at this restaurant. I didn't try any sake or like cocktails or anything like that because obviously I'm there as a chaperone, but I did have their table water, and even their water tastes good. So yeah, I mean, I have to go back. Highly recommend if you are ever in the Disney multiverse, if you get close to over there, whatever, you must go and you must eat there and you must try things, and you have to come back and tell me what you had and tell me all about it. Now, that whole experience at Morimoto's, I want to say with my tip, it was $75 maybe, which I didn't think was bad for what I got, because I got ribs, I got soup, and it wasn't like that little cup of soup that you get when you go to hibachi. It was like a true, real serving of soup. So it was ribs, the soup, the shumai, and the tray of sushi. I thought that was great. I had a great experience. Well worth the money. And I definitely have to go back. Now, I also wanted to talk about something else that's been on my table, because we have reached that point in the year, and this kind of gets into what we're going to be talking about today. We've reached that point in the year where we have been working out now, possibly for about 48 days, give or take, depending on how consistent you have been. But more importantly, we have reached that point in the year where some people have fully abandoned everything they started out doing on January 1st. Like, some people they haven't made it to February 18th, and that's okay, because it's still very early in 2025, and you have plenty of time to get right back to it and get back on board with everything that you said you were going to do. One of the things that I think makes that whole process easier is having meals that you rotate. Again, I feel like people really want variety, and they want to be able to eat a whole bunch of different things, and they want to be able to do a whole bunch of different things when they're on a fitness journey. And I think you eventually get to that place where you're able to do that, like later on down the road in your journey. But in the beginning, when you're literally just fighting yourself just to get started every day and just to make yourself do it every day, you kind of have to quiet out the noise of some part of it. And I really want to encourage people to quiet out the noise of the food part, right? Because you're already fighting yourself to get up early in the morning or in the evening after you've worked to work out. Like, I get that part. The food part, though, you're going to eat whether you're working out or not. So if you were to focus on the food, you could see results without even doing the workout part, truly. If you calculate whatever your caloric deficit is supposed to be and you get your macros, and if you just eat within those numbers, you'll still be able to see some form of progress, even if you quite haven't mastered the working out part, right? So I figured that it would be helpful for me to share what meals I'm currently rotating. That's just keeping things simple for me. I'm relying on this little carousel of meals right now just because I'm drained. Like, I'm tapped out and I'm at my capacity. And right now I just don't even have it in me to be creative or to be in here cooking up a whole bunch of different things. And it's helpful to have something like this in your toolbox where you're able to just eat without thinking about it. So this is what I eat. These are my carousel of meals that are safe for my numbers, which means I'm not having to weigh this every time I eat or anything like that, because I know these meals just work, right? In the morning, I've been having my oat bran with some fruit and some chicken sausage. The chicken sausage gives me plenty of protein. There is protein in strawberries, so that's why I always use those. I mean, it's not a lot. Don't come at me about that. There's not a lot of protein in strawberries, but there is protein in strawberries, and it's always just enough to help me meet my protein goal for breakfast. And the oat bran that I eat also has some protein in it, and the oat bran and the strawberries are a really great source of carbs for me too. So that's my go-to number one breakfast, especially right now when it's so cold outside. If I don't have that, then I'll have an English muffin, and I like the sourdough muffins. So I'll get an English muffin and I'll eat that with egg whites and chicken sausage. And if I want some fruit, I'll have fruit with it. But typically the English muffin, the egg whites, and the chicken sausage, it fills me up. I have my breakfast with 33 ounces of water and I'm good to go, right? For lunch, I have been having some stir-fried veggies with brown rice or like that brown rice quinoa mix, and then some sort of protein, mainly salmon or chicken. I have been buying the salmon fillets that you can just air fry. You air fry them for about 12 to 13 minutes. They come out perfect every time. Or I'll buy a rotisserie chicken from Costco and I will just eat off of that thing all week long. Keeps it very simple and very easy for me. And then for dinner, I have whatever my family is having, right? Because the stuff that I would make for me, I make for them. So it's always something that I can eat, and I don't typically have to swap many things out these days, I'm loving that for me, that I don't have to do that anymore. But yeah, so I'm having whatever they have for dinner. And then if it's any left over, I'll have some of that left over for lunch the next day. And that has been keeping me from having to think too much about food. It helps me just to keep it simple. Keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple. Which brings me into our main reason for our call today. Now, funerals are always such a mixed bag of tricks, are they not? My grandfather, first of all, was really like the GOAT of grandfathers. He was such a patriarch, such a huge provider for the family. He was a reverend. He was a very smart man, very, very loving, literally let me, my brothers and my cousins rip and run all over that house and never really said anything about anything. And we used to do some stuff, all of us together. Just to give you an example of the type of shenanigans that we used to pull off as young children, I don't know if people really do this anymore, but where I grew up in South Carolina, it was very common for people to have runners going down their hallways, like to protect their carpet from people's muddy or dirty shoes, things like that. And my grandparents had a long hallway, very long. I can't really remember whose idea it was, but someone out of all of us, and it was a lot of us, someone's bright idea was to turn that hallway runner into a slip and slide, right? So we got water, because everyone co-signed this. When one person brought it up, we were like, absolutely, yes, this is going to happen. So we get water, we wet the runner, and we all took turns. Like, it's a slip and slide, but like it's inside. This is lit. This is the best, right? My grandparents realize what we have done, and you would think like that imminent doom, like you all are in trouble. This is bad. This is probably the worst moment of your little childhood. It's coming right now. No, I think I remember my granddaddy telling my grandma, like, Ruth Ann, these children have turned this, they have turned this runner into a slip and slide, and they're all taking turns, like going down it. Now we got to clean up all this water. And I can't even remember if they made us clean up the water. Like in my mind, I don't see us cleaning up the water. I do remember my grandma lining us all up in the kitchen though, and giving us some of that yellow Trimedic and being like, your day is over. You're going to sleep. Good night, all of you. Bye. But yeah, they were just, the both of them, they were just like the most amazing set of grandparents that you could even dream up. Like always smiling, always happy to see us. Didn't make being a kid hard for you at all. Like it was simply the best. But at my grandfather's funeral, my uncle, his brother, was talking about, like my grandfather's legacy and his life. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, yeah, granddaddy lived such a simple, uncomplicated life. And I don't think he even wanted, like, all of the things of the world that maybe we all have grown accustomed to thinking about. I don't think he ever really even thought about that kind of stuff. He was truly and genuinely just happy with the life that he had, which was a very easy, smooth, and I don't mean easy as in like he didn't have any problems. I just mean that he lived in a small town in South Carolina where he had a job. He was a reverend, so he preached at church And he had a wife, they had kids, those kids had kids, and it was just a life. It was a life, right? It was the life that he chose and that he seemingly loved. Also, let me just say, just to paint a picture of like all of it, on Sundays after church, like my grandfather was a reverend, my grandmother was also a pastor, but at two different churches. Like my grandma really was that girl. She had her own church, and my grandfather had his own church. So in the mornings on a Sunday, everybody got up, everybody got dressed, everybody went to church. And after church, we would come back to the house, and it was literally like Thanksgiving dinner at their house every Sunday. And I don't mean a soul food dinner, because I think those are two different things. A soul food supper, yes, everybody has those. When I mean to tell you, at my grandparents' house, it will be like Thanksgiving on a Sunday, on just a regular Sunday. That is exactly what I mean. I mean that there would be meats and sides and cakes and pies, like trays of things on all of the tables and countertops. And it would be like our family would be everywhere, like buzzing around, making plates, sitting down to eat. It was just like the best, right? So that is what I mean by like easy, simple life, just to paint the scene of what, where I'm going with all of this, right? But I feel like now in today's world, in like our generations, as a millennial, maybe even with Gen X a little bit, and I don't even know what they call the generation that's younger than me. I don't know what they call them. But I feel like all of us have all of these new things that we think about and we overcomplicate our lives with. And we have really gotten away from just keeping things super simple, which I think is some of the root cause of a lot of what we end up dealing with as a society, right? Because things just aren't as simple as they used to be. And maybe rightfully so, because as times pass and things advance, like technology, the world does just change. But I think if we had held on to a lot of the fundamentals that maybe a lot of us were raised on, like as people say, we've lost recipes. I think if we didn't lose so many recipes, I think even though there's probably no way we could have escaped a lot of the doom and gloom of today, I think that maybe even at home and within our communities, we would be tighter and closer. That's just my personal opinion. We would be able to lean on each other a little bit more had we kept things just simple. And by that, I mean, we would actually be able to call each other and someone would actually pick up the phone. If you needed help with something or you needed whatever, you could call your neighbor because you knew who they were and you had their phone number. Like when my grandparents' neighbors were at the funeral, they walked up to me and said, because they knew me and I knew them. I knew the Jennings family because the neighbors there, small town USA is quite the utopia. Now, all small towns are not like Steel Magnolias or like Virgin River or anything like that, or at least where my grandparents lived. It's not like that necessarily, but it's like people knew people. And they knew you all the way, like they knew your people. You know how, like we say, like, who your people or who is that person's people? They knew, or we all knew each other's people, right? So, yeah, and I feel like we just don't do that anymore, which I guess is a topic for a whole nother day on a whole nother call. But getting back to why I'm bringing all of this up is just because simplicity has been lost on us. And as I connect that to what we talk about here on the podcast, is that there is a lot of simplicity to be found on your health, wellness, and fitness journey. There really is. And the more we try to overcomplicate it by using 8 million different apps, by using all these different food services, by following this person and following that person and just making it too more than what it has to be, you get so lost in your own journey and it becomes hard on you. And that's one of the reasons why people can't be consistent, because you're overcomplicating it for yourself. if you were to keep it just really simple and easy for yourself, you would find that it would be much smoother. And I know that's a lot coming from a person who does run a fitness app, right? But I include myself in that, right? If there's ever anything that I get up here and suggest or recommend or promote or whatever, and it sounds like it's too much for you, know that it's too much for you and be like, oh no, that's going to overcomplicate my situation. Still listen to the episode though, because I need the streams, right? But just know that, oh, maybe that particular thing is not for me. And I think if we could get to a place where we are doing that instead of trying to latch on to every little thing that we see, or we're trying every little thing that we see or that we hear about, I think most people would find that it's much easier to be consistent than what they thought, because people are overthinking it. And to be honest with you, the whole fitness thing is very simple. It's very easy. When I think about the way people in the generations before us looked at life, they looked at it in a very simple, easy way. They did not make things more difficult for them than what they had to be. And that's probably because they remembered what it was like when it was a time where things were actually hard for them. And so I get that their perspective definitely was just different. And maybe we have been a little spoiled because a lot of us didn't have to go through really hard things unless we grew up somewhere where maybe it wasn't like the safest or the best, or maybe we made life choices that maybe gave us, a hard stretch of life or whatever. But I think because for the most part, most of us have had, the typical growing up of it all, we overcomplicate things that are not complicated. And that could be for any part of your wellness journey, right? We could be thinking way too hard about most things. And I think anytime you get to a point where you're overanalyzing situations, that only leads you to a place of overconsumption, overthinking, overanalyzing, and overcomplicating anything. And I say that as a person who is an overthinker and an overanalyzer, right? I overanalyze everything. I even have a coffee mug that says, give me a minute, I've got to overthink this, or whatever it says. But I am an overthinker, so I know what I'm talking about. The more you think about things or give things just too much time to fester and grow, the only result to that sometimes is overcomplication. You've arrived at an answer that probably is not the simplest one, or you just fully abandon whatever the issue is altogether. Right? And I think that's what happens in most people's fitness journeys. You either think about it so much that you overconsume, and now you're trying to do too many things, or you're trying to cook too many things, or you're trying to plan too many things, that you end up burning yourself out before you even get started. And then you just quit, right? Or one thing happens, you'll be doing great, one thing will happen to you. And instead of you just keeping things simple and saying okay, yes, this happened to me, or this is going on in my life right now, but I can still do these other things. So I'm going to do those so I don't completely fall off the wagon, People just say oh no, I'm good. I've completely fallen off. And it's so much harder to pick yourself up and start over from scratch. But I always tell everybody, if you at least practice some of the big points of your habits at all times, then you never really feel like you're starting completely over. And it's much easier to have a successful re-entry onto your routine when you have not fully abandoned the whole thing altogether. So we are drinking water every day. We're trying to work out and move our bodies every day. We try to eat well every day, and we try to get really good sleep. It's just those four things each day. If something happens in your life that is not, I'm not talking about something catastrophic happening, right? Not talking about anything huge that requires you to be okay, let me shut everything down. I'm talking about I don't know, some rusty man texts you something that you don't like, or somebody gets on your nerves. And so now you're just like, I'm not doing anything today. I'm talking about little stuff like that, right? You get some bad customer service. Somebody rubs you the wrong way. Somebody emails you at work and they got you messed up. Something like that, where you've just had maybe not the best day. So you just say, I'm going to make today a rest day or whatever. And then that day turns into the next day, And before you know it, it's March 1st and you haven't worked out since January 15th. You get what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about. And then before you know it, it's Easter. And everybody knows what I feel about Easter. Whatever you have going on at Easter, that is what you will have going on for the spring and summer. Period. Now, you might be able to make some stuff happen by August if you started at Easter or around that time, because all is not lost, and it's never a bad day to make a good decision. And in fact, every day is a good day to make a decision and to get started. Every day is a great day to have a day one. But think about where you would be if you did not fully abandon everything when you hit a stumbling block, right? You try to keep something going. And I'll use myself as an example because of everything that's been happening in February in my life. I haven't been able to give as much time to working out as I would have liked. There have been days where I've had to not even really work out at all because I've either been in my car traveling or sitting on a bus traveling or just doing whatever, right? And I have been super busy, but my food has stayed intact, my water has stayed intact, and my sleep has stayed intact. And because of that, I feel like I have still been able to see progress, even though I haven't been able to really hit those workout numbers the way that my body is probably used to. Right? So just take that into account when you're thinking about starting again, if that's you, and you feel like you just kind of need to reboot yourself and get yourself going again. If that's you, try to keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. Keep your workout routine enjoyable. Remember, if you're just now getting started or this is all new to you, do things that you actually like to do to move your body. If you like to dance, dance. If you like step classes, do step classes. If you like to walk or run, do those things. If you like strength training, do that. If you like group fitness classes, find some and go. But every day that you choose to kind of not do nothing, especially if it's nagging you, if it's in your brain to do it, but for whatever reason you just say tomorrow, it'll be 2026. And you'll be thinking, this is going to be my year, when 2026 really could be 2025. It really could be. The time is going to pass regardless. So we all may as well put our best foot forward and make the effort to really try to get to know ourselves, get to know what our bodies respond to, and really become a master of ourselves in a way that does feel easy and smooth. It can be very simple. Don't let your brain tell you that it's hard, because it's really not. When I think of what hard things are, I think of things that are not working out and eating right. I can think of some really hard things that are actually very much so difficult and hard. I would like to believe that in all of the things that would challenge us in our lifetime, eating well and working out is got to be at the bottom of the list. It's not the most challenging thing in the world. It's really not. But for whatever reason, sometimes we think that it is. So, I don't know. Girl, if that's you and you feel like you just need help, you just really can't figure it out, how to make it doable for you, reach out to me. I'm trying to decide if we're going to have another 75 hard before summer gets here. And I'm on the fence about it, but I feel like the weather would be nicer than it has been. And I feel like for those that start in mid-March, they would finish in time for summer, right? So I may open it up and see what the interest level there is. If you feel like you would want to do it, please message me or DM me and let me know. Because when I know that there are people who want to do it, that does influence whether or not I create a group. So if that's you, girl, reach out to me and I would be more than happy to coach another group through 75 Hard so that y'all can see results. I'm like, the women who are doing it, they are eating that challenge down. Like the ones that have been really consistent, I am seeing the results that they are having, and I'm like, yes, this is what it's about. And now that I think about it, the people who are getting really great results, they have been keeping it really simple. I'm sure that it has been a time investment, no doubt about it. They are sacrificing some of their time, but I think they're happy with what they're getting in exchange of that time. So, you know, you got to think about what your goals are. You got to think about what you want for yourself. And you have to think about whether or not you think the reward at the end is worth the journey of the sacrifice of the journey. If I'm saying that the right way. I don't know. I might have got it backwards, but you know what I mean. You got to think about how bad you want it. I'll say it that way. And if you really, really want to see change in results, if you've been to the doctor and they've been like, oh, you need to work on this or you need to work on that, you need to switch up how you're eating, switch up how you're doing that, you just have to decide if that's what you want for yourself. And if you decide that you don't want to do the work to get to where you need to be, then like I told someone last week, then what you're saying to yourself is you're completely fine with how things are. You're completely fine with it. If you decide that, hey, I want to be this, or I want to do this, or I want to quit doing this, or I want to eat more of these things because it's going to help me achieve X, Y, or Z, or feel better, or weigh something, or bring my numbers down, or whatever it is, just think to yourself every day that you do things that don't align with that goal, you're only going to remain where you are. Be it good or bad. And sometimes it's not the best for our health, right? Sometimes we do have to sacrifice some of the things we like to eat or some of the things we like to drink, or even sacrifice our time for the things that we want. And because we are still early enough in 2025, I just want everyone to know that it's not too late. If you have fallen off that January bandwagon, if you haven't been back to the gym since the first week of January, or you haven't walked, you haven't done a push-up, whatever it is, you still have time to start again and work out for the whole year. By the holiday season of 2025, you could be a completely different person. And I mean that in a good way. Most of you all are beautiful, lovely people, so I don't want you to change too much. But you know what I'm trying to say. You could be closer to your goals. I ran into someone at the Pilates studio that had not seen me since the last time she saw me at the gym, which everyone knows I haven't been back to the gym since the last time I saw my personal trainer. And that was in 2023? Yeah, because I didn't go to the gym all of 2024. So it had to be in 2023. And I think it had to be in the early part, like the first half of 2023, right? She hadn't seen me since then. When she saw me at the Pilates studio, she called my name. And when I responded, she was like, oh my gosh, that is you. I thought that was you. She was like, I didn't even recognize you. And I'm thinking it's because I don't have braids anymore. And I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm not wearing my hair in braids. And I think everybody pretty much would see those braids swinging all over the place. And they knew that was me. And my hair is super short now. And she was like, no, it's not. She was like, it's not the braids. She was like, you look amazing. What have you been doing? And I said, oh, I have been coming here since they opened in November. I said, but really, I've just been strength training and walking at home. And I really buckled down on my food. And yeah, and I'm loving the results. So, and she was like, oh, well, I'll have to tell so-and-so I ran into you. And I was like, yeah, please do send them all my love. Loved those women down. Loved my, what did I used to call them? My elliptical sisters. I loved the women that used to be on the elliptical or the treadmill with me every day at the gym. But, different things work for different people. And you kind of have to learn what it is that's going to work for you. And then once you figure out what's working for you, from the workouts to the food to the sleep to all of it. Copy and paste that into each day. Keep it very simple and easy for yourself. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't let this whole thing stress you out. Because the second it starts to stress you out, you will either stop altogether or you'll only make it just harder on yourself by going from one thing to the next. And that's not what I want for you. And I know that's not what you want for yourself. So like I said, reach out to me if you need any help with that. I am here to help you and support you. And I'm going to think long and hard about the next round of 75 Hard. And I'll let people know about that. You can always join the app at any time. Once you join the app, I do answer all of your questions for you. I do have a one-on-one call with you at the beginning and like a consultation, and we talk about how you should reach your goals, and I set things up for you. So it doesn't even have to be like an official challenge for you to join the app and get the benefits from it. I think it's just more fun when people are in an official challenge, because then they get to kind of see each other go through it. So that's that on that. Now for the workout report, I'm still doing what I just said. Like, I'm doing cardio, I'm going to Pilates, I'm strength training, and I'm really loving my routine. Now, my brother has recently started like riding his Peloton bike, and his results have been so phenomenal that he has got me wanting to ride that bike. And we all know how I feel about the bike. I love it. It's fun. Alex and that gold chain really inspired me to want to be a better version of myself. But the bike is hard. But also, I think the bike would make me have really great legs. So I think I'm going to start incorporating the bike back into my workout routine, just to kind of like jazz things up a little bit, because I want to see what will happen when I do that. But for now, like, I've been very happy with what my routine is getting me. I weighed myself this morning and I was 152 pounds, 152.2 pounds. So I'm 2 pounds away from my goal weight, which basically for me, that means I'm at my goal. I'm not going to be a stickler over two pounds. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at and what I look like. I'm pretty happy with how my clothes fit. I'm pretty happy with the fact that I can now get back into my clothes, because you all remember back in 2023 or 22, whenever that was, that I was doing the whole personal training thing. The only thing I really wanted was to be able to get back into my clothes. Like, I just hated the fact that every time we got ready to go somewhere, I was having to buy something or order something because I couldn't fit anything anymore. And now that I'm back into my clothes, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine right here. This is a nice sweet spot. So I'm going to figure out how to get into a maintenance phase that I'm happy with, or like, how to maintain where I'm at in a way that I'm happy. Because on the one side, I really do love and enjoy the current routine that I have right now. I would just need to start eating more food. But on the other side of that, the food that I'm eating right now really does fill me up. It's rare that I have a day where I feel like I'm starving. I feel like the amount of food that I'm eating right now is meeting the demand on my body for the working out that I'm doing. But I do know and understand that in order to be in a true like maintenance stage, I would need to eat more calories. Like my calories will go up for sure. Probably not by that much. I could probably eat like another snack during the day. But like I said, right now, I feel pretty satisfied at the end of most of the days. I do think what I probably will do, though, is start allowing myself to have like something on the weekend. Because when I mean to tell y'all, I had buckled down on my nutrition. Like, I wasn't even having like cheat meals on the weekend. And if I did have anything, it was going to be Chipotle, because like we've said a million times, Chipotle is like basically Whole Foods. They just throw it all in that bowl, right? So yeah, I feel as if I'm in a really good space that I would like to maintain. So I'm going to work on getting to that point, but I'm not going to go into a maintenance phase until after this round of 75 hard that I'm coaching is up. I want to wait until the end of that because I don't know. I just like what I'm doing. Like, I like the amount of cardio I'm doing. I like the strength training that I'm doing. And y'all know I love Pilates real bad. Like, when I was at Disney last week, I actually missed it. Like, I was like, I can't wait to get back home because I want to go to Pilates. And over at the studio, they're starting to test people for level 2 classes. And I think you're supposed to either request to be tested for the level 2, or you're supposed to be invited by an instructor for level 2. One thing that I did notice in Pilates yesterday is that being strong in general and being Pilates strong is two different things. So while I think I am definitely strong, like I can do a lot of the stuff they have us do in class, there is one thing in particular that I don't know how to do, or not that I don't know how to do it. I know how to do it. My core just isn't there yet to actually do it well. I don't think I'm going to request to be tested for level 2 because I don't want to rush myself through my own little Pilates journey. While I am very strong and I'm coordinated, so I can do a lot of the stuff that they ask you to do on the reformer, I don't want to use my coordination and my strength, I don't know, like to give me some type of advantage into testing into something that at the end of the day, just because I can test into the class, it doesn't mean I need to be in there. Let's just say it like that to make a long story short. And I think that if they tested me, I could probably get in there because I know what my body is capable of doing. But there is one thing that I would like to be better at before I even request to be tested for level 2. So I'm going to stay where I'm at for now. I'm really happy with where I'm at, and I'm really happy with the results that I've been getting from Pilates too. So no rush on that. Very happy with where I'm at as far as the workout report goes. So let's get into some of the random and relatable things. I feel like we have a lot to catch up on. For starters, let's start, or should I save that for the end? Nah, let's do Beyoncé at the beginning, because normally I let y'all go at the end. If I'm like, if you don't do Beyoncé, this is where we sign off. I normally do give y'all that common courtesy, but you know what? I feel like 2025 is a new day for me. I'm 41 now, and if I want to talk about Beyoncé, we're going to talk about Beyoncé first, and then we will get to all of the other things after we discuss Beyoncé and how she went, or she's going on tour. Now, she announced the tour and basically said, y'all got 2 weeks to get your money together, which my Amex was free and clear and it was ready to go. Because back in January, when she made that announcement saying like, oh, January 14th or January 16th, whichever one it was, like I have an announcement, we knew something was coming. And she normally doesn't make an announcement like that if she's not going to be asking you for some money. Now, I was secretly hoping that her announcement was going to be new music, because I just thought it would be fun to get Act 3 before she went on tour again. But I guess she said, no, that's not what she's doing. She's going to go on tour, which the announcement didn't come out because of all of the fires and the things going on in California. She postponed it. She made the announcement, I think, Grammy weekend. And then tickets went on sale this past week, right? Before Valentine's Day. So when she made the post about the tour dates and all of that, we all got to see like, oh, she's going to do the Rodeo Chitlin circuit. She's not doing a whole bunch of shows. She's not going everywhere. This is going to be a very quick tour here in the States, and she's going to do a couple of dates overseas. Got it. We all understand. Now, due to the limited amount of tour stops, we also knew that all of us that actually like loved Cowboy Carter, the album, we also knew that it wasn't going to be enough tickets for all of us to see her. We knew that. We knew it would be a fight to the death for the tickets. We knew that. So I was very happy when I found out that, like, oh, if you have been a subscriber to her website this whole time, there's going to be a pre-sale just for you. And we're going to send you a code before the tickets go on sale. You get online and may the force be with you. Right? Okay. And that was fine. So on February the 11th, mind you, this is the day that the bus leaves to go take these children to Disney. I had to be at the school at 12:30 to load the bus to take the child to Disney. Those tickets went on sale at 12 o'clock. I had my father come pick me up and take me over to the school because I didn't want my car like sitting in the parking lot while I was gone, and my husband was at work, so he couldn't do it. Like he couldn't take me. So I was like, Daddy, be at my house at 11:30 because I'm going to need to sort out this thing with Beyoncé before you can take me to the school. And I want you here just in case, I end up running a little late with Beyoncé. So I need you here. My daddy gets here at 11:30. I'm still packing my stuff. I'm pulling myself together. I enter the waiting room at, I want to say, like 11:35, 11:40, maybe. I sit in the waiting room, and I'm doing all of this from my phone, okay? Because I didn't want to be on my computer, and then if I had to leave to head to the school, that wouldn't be good for me. So I'm doing all this from my phone. I'm in the waiting room. I keep refreshing just to make sure I don't get kicked out of the waiting room because y'all know, well, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but my Apple phone 13 has seen better days. Sometimes she's in a good mood. Sometimes my screen freezes and it's like, it's not the best situation. So I'm refreshing as I'm getting ready to go. At 12 o'clock, they let me out of the waiting room and into the line. I'm like number 6,600 and something in line, right? And I'm like, okay, no problem. It's still not even 12 o'clock yet. No, yeah, it is 12 o'clock because the sale started at 12. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's see how long it takes for me to get to a point where I can buy tickets. Okay, it's 12:15. I'm still waiting. And I'm like, ooh, we're going to have to leave and head to the school because the school is like 10 minutes from my house. So I'm like, we're going to have to get in the car and head over to the school. Now, within that 15-minute wait, they had already started putting up messaging saying, like, due to the amount of people trying to buy tickets, like, some of y'all ain't going to get tickets today. And I was like, they ain't talking to me. What I'm going to do is stay in line. Now, that message might scare somebody else and make them hop out the queue. It's not going to make me hop out the queue. I'm in the queue because I've been listening to Cowboy Carter all day, manifesting these tickets, honey. Right? I don't get out the queue. I go downstairs and I'm like, Daddy, we're going to have to go. And he's like, did you get your tickets? I said, I haven't got nothing. I'm still in line. So Daddy gets my luggage. We get in his truck. We are backing out of the driveway. And at this point, I think I'm number like 800 in line. And I was like, oh my gosh, Daddy, I'm number 800 in line. Let's just sit here for a second. Because what happens is people get in the queue. They don't see the tickets that they want, or they don't see tickets within whatever their budget is, and they'll get out of the queue, and that just makes the line go a lot quicker. I went from being like number 800 in line in my driveway. By the time we got to the entrance of my neighborhood, which is only 0.25 miles, and yes, I know that, right? Of course I know that. By the time we get to the entrance of the neighborhood, like I'm like in the single digits, like it's almost my turn to buy tickets. Y'all, I get in there and all I'm seeing is the tickets that are in like the pit where there are no chairs, or I'm seeing whatever that is on the very front row, like the yellow stars. And those seats were like $2,500. So I was like, no, those seats aren't talking to me. And because I wasn't seeing any other tickets, I was starting to get stressed. Like, oh my gosh, is it sold out? Or did they really mean they're not selling any more tickets? Like, what's going on? And I started to just sign out. But then something said to me, no, Tia, just stay in and keep letting it refresh. And as we kept driving, we got up to a place where the signal over there, like even if I'm talking on the phone, my call might drop, right? So as we were driving over to the school, I was like, oh my gosh, this is not good because my phone is probably going to lose a signal, like a good strong internet connection when we get over here. So I was like, Daddy, when we get over here, you have to gun it through this little area because I don't want my phone to lose the signal. So we get over there and now I'm seeing seats. And I knew I had written down like different sections that I wanted to be in. I had written them down on a piece of paper, and that piece of paper was at home on the desk in the office. But I remembered it. I was like, okay, I want to either be in M, K, P, or J. I think that's what I had written down. Or maybe it was M, K, E, or J, actually. Yes. Well, of course, I'm looking at the seats that are popping up now, and y'all know how it is when you're in there. Seats pop up, then they disappear. Pop up, and they disappear. And so now I'm seeing a whole lot of options for seating. So I don't know if Ticketmaster like opened the seat threshold back up or what happened, but they let the floodgates open, and so now I'm seeing a lot of seats. And I saw section P, and I said to myself, well, Tia, now that's close enough to where you said you wanted to be. And if you keep playing this game with these people in Ticketmaster, these seats might not even be here. If they keep refreshing it, somebody else might grab them. And the price was so good that I'm not even telling people what I paid for those seats. And I've been seeing a lot of people talk about that on Threads, asking, because I understand the ticket situation must have got crazy after I bought my tickets, because I've been seeing all the conversations about people being like, what city are you? What section are you? And how much did you pay? Because like it was crazy out there. My tickets were way less than what I was willing to pay to see Beyoncé. And the seats are close enough to where I want it to be that I'm very happy with my ticket buying experience. I'm very happy with my seats. I'm very happy with what I paid. And I feel bad for the people who have been in that other situation with the ticket buying. But once I secured those tickets, and I literally got them before we pulled up to the school. Like it was like perfect timing. I could not have imagined it going any better than what it did, because I was stressed about that leading up to the tickets going on sale. I'm like, how am I going to buy tickets when I'm supposed to be getting on the bus, taking the children to Disney World? Like, how is that going to work? But it ended up working itself out. I'm very excited. I'm already thinking about what I'm going to wear. Now, real talk, I was going to wear that bra top that I wore for Renaissance. I was going to wear that again for Cowboy Carter because it fits the theme. And I already have boots that match it. So, to be honest, I was just going to wear that with different bottoms, because I'm like, yeah, why? Why would you go out and get something else when really the first outfit you had was great? Just rewear it. Then my husband asked me, like, what was I going to wear for the concert? Like, once I got the tickets, he was like, well, what do you think you want to wear or going to wear for the concert? And I was like, I'm going to just, wear what I wore last time. And he was like, oh, well, that's a shame, because I was looking forward to you getting dressed up in one of your outfits again. He was like, and I think part of him is like, and no, please buy yourself something new. I think as like a man ego thing, he was like, I can't have you out here running that same outfit back. Please buy yourself another outfit. Please get yourself something else. So because I was on a bus to Disney for 8 hours going down there and 8 hours coming back, I did a lot of digging and looking, and nothing really I know there are a few outfit ideas that I have. Nothing that I saw that's out there right now fits the vision that I have, but I have two different visions. One of them, I think I could eventually pull off if I wait and I just wait for people to start putting out more Western themed items as it gets closer to like the tour actually starting. For that particular vision, I actually have already found the shoes, but I feel like I shouldn't commit myself to another pair of boots when I don't even know for certain I'm going to be able to find the outfit, you know? If I had the outfit already, like if I saw where that outfit was being sold, I would go ahead and get the boots and the outfit and not be like, ooh, I'm done. But because I have found the boots that would be perfect, but I just haven't seen the outfit, I'm like, ooh, maybe that particular vision is not the one we should go with. Then I happened to come across another idea that I'm not mad at all. It's pretty good. And I kind of feel like if I got that, it would just be it. Because I would not need to buy another pair of boots for that outfit. I mean, I could, but I wouldn't have to. Because I could reuse the boots that I had for Renaissance that I have already broken in, that I already know are comfortable. They did not hurt my feet, even in the slightest bit. And I feel like that's kind of the way to go. I just feel like that outfit, and not that it would be too much, but it, it would be very, see, I don't even know the word for it. Or I do know the word, I just don't want to say it. It would just be very extra. Let's just say that. That outfit would be a little bit more extra than what I initially envisioned for myself, but at the same time, I'm not mad at it. Like, I kind of feel like if you can't do it at a Beyoncé concert, like, girl, when can you do it? And keep in mind, when we went to Renaissance, I mean, the outfits did not disappoint. And this is going to be another summertime concert. So I fully expect to see a lot of the same of what I saw at Renaissance, but just Western theme. So I need to keep thinking about it. I need to keep thinking about which direction I would like to go, because I am still slightly torn between the two visions. And I think it will just ultimately come down to what I'm able to find for that other one. Either way, it's like you're gonna buy something that you potentially would not even be able to wear again. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. So with vision number 1, I'm like, ooh, I don't want to buy a whole outfit. And I know for a fact, at least the outfit part of it, I will probably never put that on again, unless I'm going to like a full-on costume party. At least vision number 2, I could probably reuse that one in some shape or form. Not in the way I would wear it for the concert, but I could certainly wear it again, like in general, for like something. I could make it work for something else. And that way I wouldn't feel like, like, oh, you bought whatever and it's a no. Now that I'm sitting in my closet talking to you and I happen to look over to my left, I also bought another outfit. So for Renaissance, I actually bought 3 outfits for that. I bought the denim shorts and the bra top, the one that I posted on Instagram. I bought that one, which of course is the outfit that I ended up going with for night 1. I also bought a silver American Apparel, like halter bodysuit, and a silver fringe, like Western style jacket. And I was like a little disco ball cowgirl on night 2 for the concert. And that looked great and it worked. And real talk, I could probably even wear that for this concert, right? I really could, and maybe just kind of bedazzle, or I wouldn't do it. I would have to let someone who's actually crafty do it. But I could probably have somebody Western up that American Apparel bodysuit that I have, and I could probably just wear that. Because again, I have it. Now, an outfit that I actually bought for that tour and I did not wear because I ended up not going to the 3rd night because it was on a school night, is an outfit, and I'm looking at it. It's hanging up in my closet right now, and I never wore it. Real talk, I could wear that. I could wear that to this concert with the boots, maybe I would just get another cowboy hat. But then to be honest with you, I didn't wear my cowboy hat inside the concert because I felt like it might obstruct someone else's view, number one. But number two, the disco cowboy hat was just heavy. So my husband ended up holding it or like whatever for me. I really don't even remember. I just know I didn't have it on my head anymore after I took my photos and we were like inside. But you know what, girl? Now that I'm talking to you and I'm looking at this third outfit that didn't get used for Renaissance, I'm about to pull this out and give it a look because it is so similar to vision number 2 that I was considering buying that really, yes, that's what I'm going to do. When I get off the phone with you, I'm going to pull that out and I'm going to look at it. I probably need to try it on because I'm not at my same size as I was when I bought that. So that might be an issue. But if it's not, then yeah, I could probably make that work because it just could. And that would mean I would not have to buy a thing for this. And I would love that for me, especially since the tickets were such a good price. And I feel like I am speechless and at a loss for words for that. I feel like I'm doing girl math and I'm saving a whole lot of money right now by not buying another outfit unless I feel like it just truly comes down to that. So we'll see. We'll see. If you're going to this concert, what are you wearing? Because it's going to be in Atlanta and it's going to be hot. And so you got to try to dress for the weather and potentially whatever you may be doing before and after. I'm a pregame girl. I'm really not a postgame girl. And I know for a fact, if I don't wear that bra top to the actual concert all day on the day of the concert leading up to the time of the show, when I'm bopping around, that's what I'll have on. I will be pre-gaming in that. I sure will be. Absolutely. So, I don't know. But that's where we are with the whole Beyoncé thing. Let's keep in mind when we're talking about ticket sales and all of that, the ticket prices that she set, I think, were anywhere from $76 up to $800. So no ticket was supposed to be over $800. And the whole dynamic pricing thing that Ticketmaster does is Ticketmaster. It's not the artist. But for whatever reason, people always want to talk about that. And they try to put it on the artist. So there's that. That is a Beyoncé update. The newsletter is now a digital magazine, and I hope people have been enjoying that. I think they have, based on the numbers that I'm seeing. So if you are not subscribed to receive the newsletter, you can go to my website and subscribe to receive it. It is a magazine that I put out every month where we learn about a woman in fitness, or we learn about someone's fitness journey. I give recipes. We talk about different life issues. For example, in February, we talked about relationships and we talked about throwing a really great Galentine's brunch. And we do talk about working out in there. And it's just a good little, it's a good magazine. If I do say so myself, I've been enjoying creating it. I hope people have been loving reading it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about at all, go to my website and subscribe so that you can get the March issue of it. I have started Paradise on Hulu, and I just have to say that is some magnificent television. Now, if you don't know anything about Sterling K. Brown, let me just bring you up to speed. This is his third television hit. Sterling K. Brown was Roland on Army Wives, which was on Lifetime many years ago. That was a huge success, and his character on there was well loved. Then he was on This Is Us, which everybody knows about that show on NBC. He was Randall on that show, and he was well loved. I want to say his name is Xavier, Agent something, but I want to say his first name is Xavier on Paradise Hulu. And he is doing such a good job on this show that I'm just like, oh my gosh, how often is it that somebody is literally 3 for 3? And then when he be in movies, those are like good too. Even if he's just like a cameo or like supporting I'm like, he's a good actor. He really might be our next big guy, you know? I don't know if we will ever be able to replace like the Denzels or the Samuel L. Jacksons or the Morgan Freemans, the James Earl Joneses. I don't think you can ever replace talent in that way. But if I had to put my money on who was up next to be like a respected actor, I think he's got next. Like it's him, right? I have also been watching Apple Cider Vinegar on Netflix. Gotta admit, I've been falling asleep on it at night, but what I've seen of episodes 1 and 2 have been good, and my interest is piqued. And this is why I'm always telling people, you cannot follow what everybody on social media is saying, because a lot of these people don't have the scope of practice to even be telling you what to do and what you should be putting in your body. They don't. So if you haven't seen that or haven't seen the trailer for it, go watch it. It's about a social media influencer that had a super successful business, and she might still have it. I don't know, because I'm only on episode 2. But she basically was giving out advice, medical advice to people. People were taking it, and it did not go so well for them. So we'll have to see how that ends up. But for now, it doesn't look like the best outcome for that social media influencer. So far this year, I have read Fly Girl by Omar Tyree. I told y'all I'm in the book club over at Pouring Over Books. The first book we read in January was Fly Girl. We reread it because many of us had read it as teenagers, and I just gotta say, 0 out of 10 recommend doing that. If you have fond memories of that book as a teenager or a young woman, keep them. Don't reread it, because if you read that book again, it's just gonna make you mad. And it's going to make you realize that Omar Tyree is not even a good writer. Right now, we're reading Sister Sister by Eric Jerome Dickey, and I am enjoying that book. However, I will say I chose to do Sister Sister through Audible, and I typically don't do that for novels. I only use Audible for like nonfiction books, like self-help, memoirs, things like that. And I'm going to stick to that. I mean, I'm going to finish Sister Sister on there because I don't have a choice. I already started it there. But moving forward with the book club, when we have something, well, I think all of them are novels, actually. I just need to stick to handheld physical copies of novels because I feel like they don't hold my attention on Audible the way the self-help memoirs do. But Sister Sister has been a good story nonetheless. If you've never heard about that book, it follows 3 women. Each of them are going through their own like relationship issues. The storytelling, in my opinion, has been good. I actually do like the people who are reading the book on Audible. Like, they do a good job of bringing the story to life. I think my problem is I multitask when I'm reading. And when you're listening to a novel, I feel like you actually got to be sitting down to catch all the details. Whereas if you're listening to a memoir or a self-help book, you get the gist of what's happening in someone's life, or you get the gist of the advice that the self-help book is giving, and you don't necessarily need to like sit with details. So I don't know, but Sister Sister is good so far. And I would recommend it. I also recommend y'all join the book club. Go to pouringoverbooks.com and join, because it's not too late. And we will be wrapping up Sister Sister and the discussions on it at the end of this month. And we have like a Zoom call where we talk about the book, and we have like a real book club meeting, and it's like great. And then we start the book for March, obviously, like on the 1st of March. And as I sit here and talk to you, I don't know what the March book is. I mean, I have the list, but I don't know what the book is off the top of my head. But join us so you can read with us in March. I'm also reading The Mastery of Self through Audible. And I'm finding that the advice given in that book has been extremely helpful. I really like the Toltec teachings. I've read the 4 Agreements. Love that book. It actually helped me out a lot. And so I'm reading this one now, and I feel the same way about it. I feel like the advice they give is very digestible, and it's easy to apply it to your life. So check that out. And then lastly, as if this month had not already been busy enough, I'm going on vacation in March, like at the beginning of March. And so between now and March the 2nd, I need to pull myself together for that. I have not shopped, and I don't think I'm a shop for this trip. Don't think I'm going to do it. But like, I haven't pulled any of my stuff. Like, I would normally be further along in the process of all of that, but I haven't done a thing. I have not even made a hair appointment for that. And that is next. Is that next weekend? Wait a minute. What is this weekend? I don't know, but I know I haven't made no appointments. I think I do have my regular lash appointment, which will happen to line up in time for me to go. And I have my regular wax appointment, which will be fine in time for me to go. But like, since I've been wearing my hair natural, right now it's blown out, but I need to go ahead and wet it because I can feel my roots coming back. But yeah, and I would like to get my hair braided, obviously, because I don't want to have to take hair products with me on vacation. Yeah. But then there is a part of me that's like, no, Tia, just go to Ulta and see if Tracee Ellis Ross is selling pattern in a travel size. And if she is, girl, buy that stuff and just move on with your life. But I don't know. The other side of me is just like, but girl, it's easier to get braids. And that way you don't have to think about wetting your hair every day. So we'll see. But I do know I probably need to be getting things in order for that. And maybe that's something we'll talk about and do over on my other number. We'll pack together. That's what we'll do. We'll pack together over on my other number when I can bring myself to a place to actually organize and pack. We have also started a walking series over on my other number, where on our last call, I gave them my best tips and strategies for increasing their walking pace. I talked to them about how I'm able to like power walk really quickly and get a lot of steps in a short amount of time. So hopefully people have been utilizing that information and practicing it, because I will also be uploading our first 15-minute walk this week. I appreciate everybody extending me some grace and being so super patient with me while I just try to pull my little self back together. So yeah, I think that's it. This was another episode of Tia's Table. Thank you for listening. When you're out, say something nice to someone. Give a woman a compliment, make her day, bring her some joy. Don't compete, don't compare, don't complain. What God has for you is for you. And never knock another woman's hustle. I will talk to you next time. Love you, girl. Bye.